guys, this is your Millennial Tube today with Alex McDonald from Velocity. We're very excited to speak to him as he is one of the co-founders of Velocity app, the app which is redefining going out. So Alex, could you summarize what Velocity is all about?
Yeah, so Velocity is an app which lets you pay directly from your phone without waiting in restaurants, bars and clubs.
The app business is so competitive. How do you differentiate yourself from everyone else?
That's a really good question. There are hundreds and thousands of apps being released on a weekly basis. With Velocity, we don't see ourselves so much as simply a technology company or a payments company or a restaurant app. We see ourselves as building a lifestyle brand. We want to be there at every stage of your going out experience, from discovery through to booking, through to payment, feedback, loyalty and rewards.
So your business is to go out all the time?
My business is to help people go out and have a great time themselves.
How do you define millennial, Alex? And how is millennial important to the app?
Well, firstly, I'm a millennial, so Velocity was created with myself and my friends in mind. We wanted to take back control of our going out experience. We wanted to redefine the dining out experience. Well, as a millennial, I want to be part of a community. I want to have the opportunity to co-create and to input on the products and brands that are around me. So with Velocity, we have co-created a product with our community, with our customers. We constantly take feedback from them and we act on that feedback. We put in new features, we add new venues to our platform, all based on our customers' feedback. And I think that's a really important part of being a millennial and interacting with brands and companies as a millennial.
So what are the main traits or millennial traits of Velocity?
Well, millennials, firstly, they want instant gratification. They're very impatient, they don't like waiting around. 80% of people want to control their dining experience. 3 in 4 people have been frustrated at waiting for the bill in a restaurant. So Velocity takes away all of those issues. We solve those problems for millennials. We empower them to take control of their own going out experience.
And how was the reception so far?
We launched recently. We launched just over 6 weeks ago in London now. We have launches coming up internationally as well in the US and in Asia. And we've been overwhelmed by the response in the restaurants that we're live in.
And can you talk to me a bit more about your customer? Have you noticed some interesting things about your customer, whether it's age, not age, whether it's attitude, and how did that happen?
I think we observe our customers a lot. I'm in the venues almost every day, seeing how people interact with the product and then how it changes their behavior in the restaurant, which I think is really interesting as well. And one thing I've noticed, and actually it was one of the restaurateurs who pointed it out to me, was that customers now almost feel like they're co-owners in the restaurant, right? They have that experience at the end of the meal where they can literally get up, nod to the waiter and walk out as if they own the place. I think that's an awesome experience for anyone to be able to go through. And for us, that's been really exciting to see. And once you do it once, it is really addictive. You want to be able to do that again. And it frustrates you if there's a restaurant which doesn't accept Velocity and you have to go through that whole palaver with your card or with cash.
So is it still challenging in London in terms of the receptions for the restaurants when you go in and sign up the restaurants, or has it just generally, is it organic?
It's definitely become a lot easier, and that's because there is a huge generational shift at the moment in spending. As we're all aware, millennials are now becoming the biggest contributors to consumer spending. They dine out more frequently than any other generation. They spend a higher proportion of their income on dining out than any other generation. So they are driving the shift in attitudes from the restaurateur side as well, because they understand that if they want to still be relevant to those customers, then they need to be changing their procedures and their payment methods to be able to fit in with their customers.
Do you have some recommendations for London restaurants, or do you have some top picks that we have to absolutely check out these days?
I would recommend Chotta Mate in Soho, which is on Frith Street. It's a Peruvian and Japanese fusion restaurant. Amazing cocktails, the food is fantastic, and they have this awesome decor with graffiti all over the walls. It's definitely one of the hottest places in London at the moment.
So I can imagine in my head you sitting down in a restaurant or a pub or in the club discussing velocity. Was that how it happened?
It was actually, yeah. I was with my co-founder Zia. We were in Miami. We were in a fantastic restaurant. Food was great, drinks were great, service was great up until the end. And we ended up waiting 45 minutes for the bill. And naturally being impatient, I actually got up and walked out, and I told the restaurant manager on the way out why I was leaving. Now, we ended up sorting things out, but at that point in time, we realized that was a huge problem, and not just a problem for me as a customer, but for the restaurateur as well.
What was your biggest single challenge at the beginning when launching Velocity, and how did it change since then?
I think our biggest challenge was actually convincing restaurateurs that payment was a problem in their restaurants. You'll talk to any restaurateur in London, they're really proud of their service and their staff, and sometimes they don't see that actually there are people frantically waving their hands around trying to get the bill and pay and leave their restaurant. So that was, I guess, one of the challenges that we came across. But over the past 12 months, I think a lot of research has come out on consumer habits, and restaurateurs are starting to listen to their customers more. And that has led to a real change in the way that they view the payment experience at the end of the meal. And we've benefited from that, and that's a problem that we solve.
Talk to me a bit about marketing and having ambassadors. I would have thought that customers are your biggest ambassadors. How do you get them to talk about the application, and how do you look at the marketing, traditional versus new models? This is a big thing for application, and I think what's important, one thing is to download the app, the other thing is to keep people coming.
Yeah,
Can you talk to me about that?
Absolutely. So our customers are our biggest ambassadors, and the way that is created is through having a fantastic product, which once they use it the first time, they enjoy it so much, they want to share it with all of their friends. And so it starts with creating a great product. So I think we've done that with Velocity, and everything, in terms of our user statistics, we have, I think, around a quarter of our customers have shared their referral code with their friends in order to incentivize them to sign up. And that's from having that fantastic user experience. In terms of getting people to use it once and then come back again, that's a really important metric for us, because if people are only using it once and never using it again, that says that we haven't achieved what we wanted to. So it's really reassuring for us that despite being only, I guess, 6 weeks old since launch, over a quarter of our transactions are repeat transactions. So that shows that people are, using it again and again.
How do you expect the growth trajectory for Velocity from now towards the end of the year? Where do you expect to be?
So we've created a solution which is 100% software based, which means we can scale it very quickly, and not just here in the UK, but also abroad. London is our focus at the moment, but we'll be launching in US cities imminently, and also in Asia. And I'd expect us to be live in over 500 venues by the end of this year.
That's 500 venues in the UK, or just generally across all of those geographies that you have mentioned?
That's 500 venues just in the UK, and in the US and in Asia that will be slightly less. So overall, over 1,000 venues live.
How does your next 12 months look like? What are the priorities for Velocity in terms of the development?
The development, in terms of developing the product, we are constantly iterating, and that goes back to being wanting to co-create a product with our customers. So we are constantly gathering feedback and actioning on that, whether it be adding new features, whether it be going into a different vertical, whether it be going into new venues. That is something that we constantly look to our customers to provide feedback. In terms of growth, again, we're looking to grow internationally. London's a very important city for us, but there are other metropolises around the world which could benefit from Velocity's technology. So those are the next steps for us.
What is the ambition for Velocity?
We want to be the hub of your going out experience.
Well, thank you very much for coming down and
Thanks.
discussing Velocity with us. Thank you guys, and see you next time.